Hey guys, welcome back. This is MrPokke here. So I've been pretty much playing this game for I believe at least 16 to 17 hours every single day for the past 5 days. Today is my 6th day. I just wanted to quickly get out this video for you guys. I'm still making up a couple of guide content for my dedicated guide channel for PokeCorp. So we're gonna be going through tier lists, guides, mistakes, team comps, all kind of stuff. But for just a really quick video, I want to share with you guys today is one thing that you guys should definitely consider doing when you eventually reach the end game of the AIC for all those sweaty meta players. So if you're gonna be a new player, if you're gonna be casual, you're still taking your time back in the Valley 4, don't worry about this video. But eventually one day when you eventually do reach Wuling, you will definitely find this video very helpful, which is going to be this thing right here, right? So I don't really have a script. I'm just gonna be going through this because it's a very simple concept. You can take a look and see this one thing, which is our ferrium ores production. It's only going to be a 90 per minute. Alright, this is the absolute maximum cap you're going to be able to obtain in Wuling. As you can see from our regional development, we have pretty much maxed out everything in this region as well as for Valley 4. So in the entire domain for Wuling, your max for ferrium is only going to be at 90 per minute, which poses a question with regards to our production facilities, specifically regarding to the Yazen syringe, because you are going to be essentially using this item to trade in the Wuling regional development right here, right? So you are going to be using this essentially like how you would trade for Bug A as well as HC batteries back in Valley 4. The issue for this particular product is that Yazen syringe actually is not sustainable, because its full efficiency, you can see from our build right here, it actually requires you to run 2 of the refining units running through a track for ferrium ores, as well as the ferrium bottles, you can see right here, which is produced from, I did it from my main base over here, which also requires another 2 ferrium ore productions, bring our total yield lower than the actual usage, because one belt is basically 30, right? So we actually use 4 belts for a singular 100% efficiency if you want to produce the Yazen syringe. So this is not sustainable purely from the income you will actually obtain from Wuling. And if you were to not use any other excess things, you are eventually going to notice that your local depot for your ferrium ore is going to deplete and you'll reach 0. So, right? So I asked myself, there's actually a way in which we can counter this issue by still achieving 100% efficiency pretty much permanently with this little thingy called item transfer, right? So I kind of want to refer you guys to this thingy over here. So I have ran the numbers for this thingy over here. I also put out a couple of tweets. If you guys want to check out the Arknights endgame content, we put out a lot of tweets for the couple. Honestly, this entire account has been doing very well. So thank you guys so much for the support. But specifically just for this thing, I want to talk about today for 100% Yazen syringe efficiency in Wuling, you essentially can do this thing called the multi-region material transfer. Because if you guys know from the old way, right, you can't really transfer materials between region to region. So your depots from Valley 4, it is going to be separated from the depots you're going to be getting in Wuling. So previously you can do something like this, but it is very time consuming, because this is going to be 1 hour to transfer roughly 1.2k. There is a much easier management you want to do this, which is going to be seen from this thing right here, right? So all you need to do is just go into your inventory. All right, you control click on your stash of ferrium ores. It will bring them into your backpack and just swap into Wuling. Then you control click your ferrium ore from your backpack, which will then dump all of the ferrium ores into your Wuling depot, right? So just rinse and repeat this. Eventually the maximum capacity for Wuling is going to be at 45,000. So I already ran the numbers over here. Yeah, so it's 48,000, sorry, right? So essentially I ran the numbers. You can get a maximum of 48,000 of ferrium ores within your Wuling depot. So by simple math, simply divide your 48,000 divided by the 5 per minute. It will take you 160 hours or 6.67 days from the Valley 4 surplus to complete deplete. So this means that as long as you always manually dump these items into your Wuling depot once every 6.67 days, you are actually able to maintain pretty much permanently a 100% efficiency from your packaging unit to make Yazen syringe. And this is actually really important because for all of my endgame players, if you guys have been playing this game like no lifing it for the past couple of days, you will know that your regional development in Wuling is actually going to be a lot slower compared to your regional development back in Valley 4, right? So right now, your stockpile of goods actually cannot reduce your income from their stock bill savings. Because you can see, I am going to be running this at, maximum efficiency. Alright, or rather the best I can possibly do by selling both my Yarden syringe as well as my Wuling battery. And you can still see that we cannot deplete this stock bill savings, which is eventually going to keep slowly rising up higher and higher and higher. Unlike, for example, if you were to compare this to your Valley 4 income, you can see that your output management, you would have already achieved 100% income into output ratio, right? So for example, I have way more than enough stockpile to essentially completely destroy the locals' GDP, right? They literally cannot afford to buy my products because their currency cannot have enough of these stock bill savings to buy everything. So I have achieved 100% efficiency, getting the highest possible amount of stock bills that I can get from every single outpost in Valley 4. This is not the case for Wuling, which is why you will want to use this method to increase your income in Wuling in order to earn more Wuling stock bills, right? So this particular build is also really, really important because you can see that you can buy a lot of very, very important endgame products. For example, these are going to be refreshing every single week. It is going to be what you're using for the essence pre-engraving. So this is going to be all of the endgame Reddit RNG, RNG. It is going to be dependent on these items as well as these things right here, which is going to be your artificing catalyst, right? This is the only thing that can perform the artifice for your Wuling gear, which is basically every single one of your gold gears, right? So eventually, you will need to have way more Wuling stock bill than Valley 4 stock bill. So by having an increased Wuling stock bill income, you can essentially progress through to the shop as well as the end game at a much faster pace if you're able to essentially output the current amount of goods you're providing at 100% efficiency. So if you take a look at my current AIC output for my Wuling, I am going to be at 100% for Yarden syringe, as well as this is the max I can go for Zeronite component, because as you guys will know by now, Zeronite component is basically tied to your actual input, which is the Forge of the Sky, and you can only have 2 Forge of the Sky, right? The game actually physically limits you from having more than right, you cannot have more than 2 Forge of Sky in the entirety of this thing until eventually they expand more of the Wuling AIC upgrades. So for now, the best thing you can do regards to 100% efficiency in your entire Wuling department is 3 per minute for your Zeronite component, which is going to be for your gold gear, 6 per minute for your Yarden syringe, so you're going to be able to sell this, as well as 6 per minute on your Wuling batteries, which is going to be seen from there. So this is going to be a 6 per minute. If you want to min-max this even more, you could technically consider manually dumping your HC battery, right? You could consider, okay, wait, let me do this. You could consider moving your HC Valley battery using the exact same method that I mentioned, right? You can transfer your ferrium, or just how you can transfer your HC Valley battery. You could move HC battery into Wuling and use this to power the facilities here, which will technically save you more LC Wuling batteries so that you can actually sell for more Wuling stock. If you want to do this, you could, but this is going to be a little bit depending if you really wanted to min-max and earn as much money as possible from our current economy, right? So just a really quick video on what you guys can do to maximize your output. If you guys want to see my blueprints for all of this kind of things, I'll be posting all of them very shortly on PokeCorp, right? I'll be breaking down like the exact AIC guide because I've been very new to this whole factory building thing, right? I've ever since CBT, I've basically hated this entire system, and I would say that within 1 week, I have pretty much, quote unquote, I beat the game, because as you guys can see from my AIC report, I have achieved 100% efficiency for pretty much all of my things, right? Max is gonna be Bug Capital A as well as HC. 18 per minute, this should say 18 as well, but it's like a little bit like this is the actual 18. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully this tip is able to help you increase your Wuling income. More Arknights Endfield content or like whatever guys you guys want to see in particular, just let me know in the comments. I'll try to cook a little bit more, right? So really quick video, streaming next tomorrow, and I'll see you guys then, right? Okay, bye-bye.